Hi, so in this video I'll explain you everything about the workflow and how the AI agents work properly. In order to get this done, I'm taking an example of an already made AI agent for this customer that we have. Let's just dive deep into AI agents and workflows because this is going to be an extensive video where I explain everything about both the things. Okay. So basically what an AI agent is, AI agent is something that we use to complete a certain action. Say in this one you can clearly see that it is clearly written, I want to collect the data from user and we want to provide the payment details and services of DYS, the enterprise name or the business name. So what the customer wants here is, or what we want our bot to do here is, collect the name of or data of the user and push it into the Google Sheet. Now to get this done, or I would say in order to make this, we have a few things that we need to, or we need to take care of a few things. First of all, this is normal. The name of AI agent can be anything depending upon your understanding. What you need to do is the best way, or I would say the more appropriately you define this task is how your AI agent would easily understand what exactly you want to get from it. Like here it's clearly mentioned that I want to collect the data from the user. This is the first and the foremost task that we have to do here. And the second task is we want to provide the payment details and services of DYS. I'll explain you everything. So basically, in order to make an AI agent, there are several steps that you need to create. Like the first one here, or I would say, there are several prompts that you need to put in. The first one here, the customer has defined, or we have defined it for them, that as soon as the customer joins in, the first task is to uh, ask for the name of the user that is joining in or that is initiating the chat. And once we have the name, we need to address him with the name from that step onwards and take the phone number as the second step, and only then move forward. Now this is the requirement of this business, that they want the name and the phone number as the first step. So that is something that they have chosen, and it can definitely go ahead and I would say depend totally upon your business how you would want to proceed. Now see, you are able to see that this is written in double quotations. So whatever you write in double quotation is not, I would say, changed by AI or not altered by AI before sending to the customer. But if you want here that customer does the job for you, or I would say, sorry, my bad. If you want the AI agent to do the job for you, you can directly just mention greet the customer here. Like if we write here, greet the customer and ask for the name. So every time it will go ahead and greet the customer in a different way, or not like very different, but you get my point that it will rephrase its perspective of the chat or the line. Let's just not play around with this because this is already up and running for the customer, and I'll move ahead with the second step. Second step, as I already mentioned, or as the customer already mentioned, that they wanted to take this phone number. See, here they have again mentioned that may I have your phone number is what uh, the bot should use, or the language that bot should use to ask the phone number. That is what the AI agent, or I would say we have defined in the AI agent. So what basically we are doing is we are writing basic English in order to tell the AI agent what exactly they want to work with. Or you might have tried Chat GPT or Perplexity or any AI agent like Gemini. So all of them, whatever you write is called as a prompt. So this is what we are doing here. We are writing the prompts. We are giving them a workflow in order to work properly. In order for the AI agent to work properly. Now you might be confused about this curly brackets and this search knowledge base option. I'll explain it to you on a later stage in this video itself. Let's just move ahead and see how this is going. Now after this, what I have written, or what we have written, is use the knowledge base to answer the query of the customer. Now why we didn't write directly the knowledge base is because we have something known as actions here. In actions, you might be able to see there are a few actions. There are three predefined actions for us or provided by us. One is search knowledge base, the second one is user details, and third one is make API call. So in all these three actions, as the name clearly justifies, in search knowledge base one, we will, or I would say the AI agent will go through the knowledge base of your chatbot, that is this, in order to answer the question properly. So let me go back here. So what this will do is, after this step of asking phone number, it will ask how we can help today, and then it will use the knowledge base or the data in the knowledge base in order to answer the customer. It is totally customizable, or I would say the actions are totally customizable. You can create your new actions. What this API means is, in order to make a new action or a new API call, like you want to integrate uh, it with your CRM or any other API like Calendly in order to schedule the appointments whatsoever, you can go ahead and do that from here by tapping on plus icon here and then API. How you will do this is, let's say we need to make, or I would say we need to book appointments. So I'll type in book appointment, or I want to book appointment through this. So this basically gives the gist of it, that how you want to proceed from here. We'll just proceed ahead with next. Now you want to choose this variables in this action, like, as I would say, or I would we what we created here is book appointment. So what we need as a variable is number, or I would say in string, if we need for booking an appointment, we need the name of the variable is what we need to type. Get the name of the customer, and this we can check in to mention it as required. Now when we add, or I would say from here we can add a new variable, and we can select what type of variable it would be. We can again type in the name. I don't want it to be string, I want it to be number, because I'm asking for the time of the appointment. Let's not keep it that big, let's just type in time, and here we can describe it, time of the appointment for the customer, and this is also required. So we are asking about the time that the customer can work with. Now let's just go ahead and next. What this API calls means is that here we will go ahead and post in our API key from that specific API that we are working for. Like say I was working with Calendly. So when we go ahead and make an account on Calendly, we'll get an API key that we can put in here. We can add headers here depending upon whatever kind of API we are working with, and what bot should reply on the failure, we can mention it here, and then we can click on test in order to go ahead and enter all these information, like say this Dev, time is 10 a.m., then phone number, say this 1873400, and sources Facebook. Just for an example, I'm writing in all these details, and when we send this request, it is endpoint URL. So what this is saying is that failure to parse URL from, because I didn't mention any API call here. So this is how you can work around and play around with the APIs here. Now if you want to go ahead and link your sheets or any Razorpay and everything, you can use this MCP option. You can link your Shopify account, your Razorpay account, or Google Sheets integration can be done from here. Google Sheet integration video is already posted. If you want, I can send you the link of that, and just let me know about that. And this is some custom integration that you would want to do. This is any rest of the API that you can use and make ahead of this. Now this is all about how you can play around with the AI agent, but uh, keep in mind that the AI agent won't work until you make a workflow for this. So what do you mean by workflow is how, or I would say is what we need to figure out next. Let's just move back to the workflows option. So just below this chatbot option, you will see a workflow option. Once you tap on this, and do not forget to save on AI agent before moving to the workflow. Now here you can see there is already one workflow for test. I'll show you that one also, but I want you to or I want to explain you everything that is available in workflow. So I'll create a new one for you. Okay, here. Once you open up the workflow or create a new one, you'll see all these options. You can rename it from here, new workflow for the video, just to make sure that we do not hinder anything working for them. Okay, now what this trigger means is, or I would say, here is when you can add the first trigger of your point. And what this means is, I'll show you, just give me a second. Okay, perfect. Okay, here is the widget library where there are 4 triggers, 4 of which are one of the most important ones. Let me explain it to you one by one. The first one is first incoming message. So say I am a customer reaching out to you, you are a business, or you have a business and you have the chatbot working in. So I am a customer coming in and this is the first time I am initiating a contact. Do you want your AI agent to be triggered at that point? That is when you select this. So once I select first incoming message, you will see it came up as trigger is already used in another workflow, because I'll show you what this means is here. See, I'll show you, or I would say I'll explain it to you here itself. First incoming message. So what this means is that anytime there is any first incoming message, this workflow should be active. Intent can be defined here if you want the workflow to be working only if, say, the first message that I sent to you is good morning, but you don't want your bot or your workflow to be active on good morning, but you want it when I show customer shows interest in buying a product. So that is when you or that is only when then this workflow would work. Anyways, let's just leave this behind and we can filter all the conversations from here. We can select the source, platform, user, started, last activity, message count, or messages filter. If we select the message filter, we can go ahead and add filter here and add on the text. So what this means is, if the text is this specific text, that is only when this workflow should work. So we can all play around with this. You can figure it out when you are playing around with this, and you, if you face an issue, we're here to help you out. Now what comes up next is, I'll show you with a new one itself. I'll not hinder the already working one. Okay, let's just come up to the second trigger, that is incoming message. What this means is that you want your bot to be working with every incoming message, or I would say a chatbot, or I would say a chat is working, or I would say active for 24 hours. What after 24 hours is that would not be my first incoming message, that would be my only incoming message. So you want the chatbot to work that time also, and that is when we use this incoming message. And this is one of the most used trigger here, because with every other business things are very different, and this is totally up to how you want your chatbot to work in. Okay, you can similarly, like the first incoming message, you can add a filter, or add an incoming message filter, or even add an intent of the incoming message to judge, or for the AI to judge if it's going to work or not. Now let's just move ahead and I'll show you what other things hold for you, or what other trigger is. The third one is Waka template reply. Waka template reply. So you might have heard about the bulk messaging from our end itself. We provide bulk messages from what's or via Meta itself. So this is for that. Say I send a bulk message to 10,000 people. Now I want my specific workflow to be active only when I receive a reply on that Waka, or I would say on that bulk message that I sent. That is when I'll use this Waka template. We can play around with this template if or we have to select the specific template. More of it in a different video about Waka, but definitely this is something that you would less use in general scenarios. But if you want your chatbot, or if you have already taken our service of the Waka bulk messages, That is when you will be working around with this one. Okay, let's just leave this ahead or behind, and you can filter conversations here itself, incoming message filter, or also define the intent of the same. Let's just move ahead for the fourth trigger, that is on sending a Waka template. What this means is when we send in when we send a Waka template, we can create multiple Waka templates for our business. I'll show you at the end of this video or in a different video of I'll show you a few examples of the Waka template for a better understanding. But let's just leave that for a later part. What I mean by this is if we are the ones that are sending bulk messages and we are sending multiple bulk messages, say I'm sending a marketing message or a promotional message of Diwali sale. Now I want my workflow that I made for Diwali sale to work only when I get a reply for that message or when I send that message. That is only when we select this scenario or this trigger. Okay, let's just move ahead. For now, I'll select incoming message to understand better, to make you understand the things better. Once you tap on this plus, you can go ahead and again type in incoming message. So this is something that it will work with both of this. You can play around with this. Okay, let's just move ahead. Once we select the what next is, we can select all these conditions and we can move ahead with all these actions that take place. Now let's just move ahead one by one with conditions first. So if the recent message conditions, what this means is that we are placing an if else statement. What if is or what is an if else statement is we are providing a condition for it to work. If the recent message conditions this text or say I select this, if the recent message considers the or contains, okay, let's just restart this. What this condition can do for you is you can filter out where is in your workflow would be working, and you can select here if any for any specific text if you want this workflow to work. You can just enter anything like say more info on Diwali offer. So what this means is when the text sent by the customer includes more info on Diwali offer or something like Diwali offer, that is only when the workflow below this would work. Otherwise, it will not work. Now, how we can play around with this is we can also select this if conversation conditions. So what this will do is this will judge just a message, but this will judge all of the chat done till now by the customer. So say you want all of the chat to be or I would say see, if you want it to work from a specific source platform, you get the gist of it, that how it will work and where it will work if the chat conditions. Now let me show you the third one. Yes, we can make as many as possible. The sky is the limit for this one. So if intent conditions, so what this means is we can directly add in the intent, and how an AI agent will treat this is it will judge all of the chat or all of the messages that took place in that specific chat session, and then judge if the intent is satisfied or not. If the user is interested in the services, let me sorry, in the services only, then move ahead. You get the gist of it, how we can define the user intent of it. Okay, let's just now see what exactly the actions hold for us. So say that I type in an intent that if the user is interested in services provided by us depending upon the workflow or the business that we are working for, if the intent conditions that if the user is interested, that is only when this would work, and I'll explain you everything in this actions button. The first one here is send a message. What send a message means is, say if the customer is interested in buying our products or in I'm just taking an example here to explain better, that I provide services about yoga services, like whatever this customer is, they provide yoga services. So if the customer is interested in the services provided by them, we can plot, or I would say we can plan a specific message to be sent from here by using the send message icon. We can attach files here, a video, a PDF, or even a picture itself, and we can just message here itself. Okay. Now these are some advanced options that I would like you to go ahead and play around with, and if you get any doubt, you can connect back with us. Let's just leave that aside and move to a different one. Okay. Now second one is the most important one, that's why it has a crown on it. This is transfer to the AI agent. Now the AI agent that we made till now, I'll delete all these to reduce the things, or I would say to reduce the confusion. Now what this means is, if the user is interested in buying a product, that is only when it will go ahead and transfer this workflow to the AI agent that we made. And how we can do this is by selecting the AI agent that we made. So you can see all of the AI agent that we had made comes up here, and once this happens, that is only when we can go ahead and move ahead with. I'll go ahead and select this. Okay, and we can go ahead and publish this. I'll not publish this because it will hinder whatever workflow this is working for. Okay, my bad, I just clicked on publish by mistake. Let's just remove this from the draft and delete it before it hinders anything for the customer. Let me check. Okay, perfect, it's working. I'll explain it to you again. I'll go ahead, select this incoming message, and we were on the actions part. Okay, you get the gist of it on how the AI agent would work. Now, how about sending a Waka template as an action? Like, if you want a bulk message or any Waka template that you already have to be sent to the customer on a specific condition, that is when you use this action. You can just tap on this and then select the Waka template that you have already created. Now in this workflow, we have no template that is created or approved by the Meta, so you are not able to see any template right here. But any which way, you'll be able to see once you create one. So let's just leave this point ahead or aside and move to the next one. The next one is a delay. What this delay means is that, say if you want it to work, or if you want your message to be sent after a delay, like I was interested in buying services but I left the chat in the middle, and if I want to go ahead and reply to the customer or ask the customer after about 2 days if they are still interested, that is how we can do this. We can decide the duration from here, and then we can move ahead and create a new action on send message, and this will work how I am explaining it to you. Like, are you still interested? So this is how it will work, and you can expect a delay of say 50 minutes. So if for 50 minutes I do not reply, my bot will automatically send a message that, are you still interested, just to pull the customer back into the chat. Now this is very useful feature which you can I would say imply in your workflow to make it better, or to make your chatbot work better. Now let's just move ahead in a new action, or the last one, that is an API call. What this API call means is that if you want to go ahead and select directly an API working for you here, where we can use this is if we want directly Calendly to be linked from our workflow, that is when we use this. And basically this is not directly used by an incoming message. This is generally in a, if a chat conditions, or in a second part of, or second or third node of this workflow. So this is what you will use very less, but you get the gist of it. So this is all about how you can work around and play around with the workflow. Uh, you can connect back with us if you face any other issue. I hope I was able to explain it to you. Have a good one. Bye bye.